Yep. My stomach's been making all kinds of noises. I just ate a Uncrustable, so hopefully that'll help. It's like grrr, grrr, grrr.
We're gonna have a meatloaf tonight.
Oh man, I love meatloaf. My grandma used to make
some mashed potatoes and some other veggies. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
My grandma made the best meatloaf back in the day. Oh man, I miss that. I'd always put so much ketchup.
Liz has an awesome like meatloaf like sauce, and she uses the same thing when she makes sloppy joes. Is the same sauce that she makes. Oh man, it's so good.
I want the sloppy joe sauce that my school cafeteria used to have. Like literally, I don't even know what was in it. Like it doesn't taste like manwich. It wasn't like manwich. It was different. It wasn't. I think manwich is sweeter than it was like in the cafeteria. It was.
That's what we always had was manwich when I was a kid. Now that I think about it, we have.
This was like different, and I don't know how it is. There's a few recipes I'd like to have. Like even though the pizza was crap at school, like there's still something about that pizza.
Did you guys have the rectangles like on Friday?
Hello, of course we did. Did you have anything but a rectangle pizza?
I know.
No,
but you bougie if you didn't.
Yeah, right. But the thing we did have, it was so they did a double whammy on Fridays often. We had the pizza and the peanut butter bars. You know, those like, you didn't have the peanut butter bars?
Peanut butter bars, no.
Oh, it was like peanut, like the inside of a Reese's peanut butter cup, like on the bottom and a tiny little layer of chocolate on top. Like they were great. They're like no bake bars. They're so good.
Do you have fiestadas? They were like Mexican pizzas. They were like
we did have Mexican pizzas.
They're like hexagons though. They weren't like
yes.
Those were like the jam.
I used to love something called like a rat pizza. It was basically like a hot pocket kind of. I'll always have this memory of some kid like threw one like from one end to the other, and it was like really close to hitting me. So it hit my friend like right in the back, and it just splashed.
I know the stupid things that you liked.
I know, like I don't know why that memory will always be with me, but like some jerk just threw it all the way across the cafeteria.
You get in trouble?
I don't know if they ever knew who it was. I didn't know who it was. I was just there on the other end where my friend got
Did you back him up? Food fight. Yeah, Glenn. Food fight.
Exactly. It's so dumb. Like the stuff, like literally, like I remember liking like the fish sandwich. I think because we never had anything like that. Like my mom never made like a fried fish sandwich at home. So like at school was the only place I ever had that.
Yep. We had, let's see, so what was the other, yeah. So like when I was teaching, the biggest deal was like when we first were able to get Papa John's. Like that was back in my teaching days. Like they would have Papa John's Day on Friday. And so the kids could bring $1 for an extra slice. You could buy one extra slice. So you could get 2 slices. And like,
so was it really from Papa John's?
Yeah, yeah. And so because we had like a deal with our Papa John's. And so it was Papa John's Day every Friday. But like you were a baller because I taught 6th grade, right? So if you got 2 slices, it was like you were a baller. I'd be like, because you'd have to like be like, okay, who's getting an extra slice? And everybody raise their hand. I'd go around and pick up their bucks.
Like, funny. So Liz had Papa John's in her middle school, but it wasn't the Papa John's you're thinking of. It's a local, like to Lansing, is like a really? Location that happens to be called Papa John's, and it is like some of the best pizza in town. It's so good, but that's just funny.
Yeah, no, ours was like the ours was like the national,
like the chain one. Yeah,
the chain.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was a big deal back then. It was like 2000.
Oh, for sure it would.
And then like we had the 100% club. So like if you did 100% of your homework, didn't miss any assignments for the whole month, they got to eat lunch with me like on the following Monday. So we'd like stay in from recess, and I'd pay for the pizza. And so I'd buy all the pizza, and they got to eat all the pizza they wanted. And so I think I went across the way to Little Caesars because we had a Little Caesars across the street.
There you go.
It was the cheapest pizza, right?
There you go.
So I just buy like a bunch of like Little Caesars pizzas, and dude, we destroy those things. Dude,
that's still the thing, man. Like Little Caesars pizza is like it's like I think our company still buys Little Caesars pizza for people.
I told them, you bring the drinks, I'll buy all the pizza. If your homework for the month, you're in the. So what happened? The way it worked was like I had this bulletin board, right? And at the beginning of the month, everybody had like an icon for their name. Like they had to make this little like die cut icon of their whatever. They got to decorate it. As soon as you didn't turn in any assignment, whoop, I'd throw it in the trash. So You were out of the 100% club for that month.
Oh man, that would never fly now, Mike.
That's not work, dude. The kids are crying. But if you were up at the end of the month, dude, you were in the club. And so, like, you know, if you made it to the 31st, you're getting pie, or you're in the party. So that's how it worked. It's with the beginning of every month, everybody was back in, you know. So, but dude, if you made it to like the 29th and you forgot your homework,
oh man.
Sorry, no pizza for you, brother.
Oh my goodness.
But you know what? That's a life lesson. That's how it works.
So. It is how it works, but it wouldn't fly.
I know it wouldn't, but it was hard love. But and then if you made it all the way through the year, I took you to Ponderosa because we had a Ponderosa in our parking lot. It was at our parking lot, so we just schlepped right across the parking lot to the Ponderosa. And they had that Ponderosa like bar, like the salad bar.
Oh yeah,
I had a kid throw up because he ate so much.
No,
come on, man.
Anthony he went all in on the chicken wings and the mashed potatoes.
There wasn't anything that good at Ponderosa. So
the chicken wings at Ponderosa. Scott and I talked about this. Those wings rocked. Or Scott's brother.
I'm gonna say, like, I don't think they rocked necessarily, but. But my dad loved having Ponderosa wings for Christmas every year.
God, yeah.
Steve's family loved the Ponderosa. I can remember going there with them at one point when we were dating. And the little thing that they clued me in on was, if you just eat the salad bar, then you can take your steak home and have it for lunch the next day. And I was like, yeah, this steak is not good now. It is certainly not going to be good tomorrow.
My parents would never let us upgrade to the steak. You know, it was buffet
no, it
only.
Was just for
even though it was like $1.99 more to upgrade to the buffet of the steak.
You just got the buffet.
I just got the buffet.
Just the buffet.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
I didn't know what that steak life was like.
It wasn't that good.
It was decent. Yeah, it was not great. Runner with Heart over at Instagram says the peanut butter bars were the best. So Runner with Heart agrees. And also Fulton out in Indiana, happy 26th birthday to you.
Happy 26th.
Yes. Happy 26.
Man, making me feel old.
Yeah.
The Roomba is like right on the door. You can't hear it, Mike? It's like right here. No?
Banging into your door? I don't hear it.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
Bam.
I'm glad it's not picking up.
No, I don't. All right. We have questions. Good. Natalie.
It wants into this room. I'm guessing.
If it comes in and kills
like
you.
The Sam's Club.
It's like you with like
I'm like Pam. I just like trapped myself in a room.
Right?
Can't get me
You're
now.
stuck.
Great for ratings. Matt's Tracks. Thank you on Instagram. Hello. I see you. Dude, he was killing it over down at Matt just runs the races and smiles and like spreads love all around.
That's cool.
All right, let's get to work here. So we're at 26-28. Listener questions for Wednesday. Hello to Jason on YouTube. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2628 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week and staying warm here in the United States as we are trudging on through January. Everybody back from Marathon Weekend. A lot of folks looking forward to heading out to Disneyland here soon for the Disneyland Half Marathon. A lot of runners getting ready to head down to Princess here next month, and Festival of the Arts going on right now down at Epcot. Lots to look forward to here in the Disney universe. And we got a lot of questions that we're going to be answering today. Having a good time talking Disney. So thanks for checking in with us. Hopefully we're warming your hearts with some Disney talk. I don't know if we're doing that, but we're here. We're having fun. So stand by for lots of fun today. Joining me today to have some fun talk, your friend and mine up in the Mitten, where I bet you it's freezing just as well. I mean, we're all three in places where we shouldn't even exist. It's just you walk outside, it's like get punched in the nose cold. So Scotty G joining us from Must See Adventures. Check it out over on YouTube if you want to head out to Disneyland Paris for a little fun today. Scotty G, what's going on?
Happy Wednesday, Mike. I thought you were going to say the Keystone State at first. Then you threw me off.
When Ricky's not here, I don't know the order to go in. It messes me up. So
I know, because Ricky always wants to be first. We know that she always wants top billing.
Yeah.
I don't think me and Pam care either way.
I don't either. I'm like, whoever gets it.
Ricky, with her contracts and her green M&Ms and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. She has
Happy Wednesday.
A very long rider, I've heard. Multi pages.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday. Happy to answer some listener questions, and it is cold. Holy cow, is it cold where we all are right now? I know it's cold in Florida even a little bit, but I'd still take that over the negative temperatures we have here in Michigan right now.
The rumor is that that storm that's going through the South right now, that's why Ricky cannot podcast. That she's out making a snowman, or I don't know, because Atlanta can't deal with. I hear 1 inch of snow just paralyzes Georgia.
It does.
Right here. I mean, Caleb told us about that Sunday night. So good luck, bro.
Facts.
Exactly. All right. Pam Forrest, you're also joining us. She's co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. A little snow in Pittsburgh. Not a problem. You guys handle it fine. What's up, Pam?
True. We all have 4-wheel drive here. So every car we own actually has it. So yes, it does. And we do just drive in it because it can't shut down everything. I mean, we'd be shut down a lot if it were.
I will say though, the other night I was, I kind of put the football game on sometimes for wallpaper as I'm, working and stuff. And there was the Steelers were playing their last game, and Mike Tomlin, your coach, there was a lot of memes on social media about how cold he looked, for being a Pittsburgh coach. He looked extremely cold on the sidelines. Good shot.
Well, it is cold here, like super cold, I'm saying, but we still have to do what we have to do or whatever. But when they predicted, here's what's so weird. We all know it. We all drive in it. We all are used to it, right? But when the storms are predicted, we still like the milk, bread, and eggs all gone, and toilet paper. I always say this, like, who lives right there on the edge that like the inability to get to the grocery store for like a day or two would mean that you don't have toilet paper? Like, are you buying the 4-pack? Do they even still make the 4-packs anymore? I don't know. But like, I don't like to live that close to the toilet paper edge. I want to have extras in a closet. Yes, exactly.
I mean, you never know.
Exactly. Milk, bread, eggs, whatever. Like we almost always have those. And if we couldn't get to the grocery store for a day or two, I would be okay either way. You know what I mean? But toilet paper, like, you have to have that. So I suggest that everyone just buys in bulk.
They should.
This show brought to you by Costco.
Right. Exactly.
That's right.
So,
there was a Buffalo Bills player this past weekend. He literally wore a coat under his uniform. I've never seen that before. Dude had a coat under his. Like the opposite has been happening lately. Like dudes have been going out there with like shirts off and warm-ups. This guy decided he was going to go all in like the other way. I'm just going to wear like a down coat under my jersey, which I appreciate that. As an old dude who's always freezing, smaller. Like, dude, wear the coat under your shirt,
right? At least a fleece or something.
Exactly. I ran the whole marathon, like with the some people were out there. Caleb got cold, but dude, I didn't get cold because I wore my Nike combat stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like at home, I have a 32 degrees like long sleeve shirt that I have a few of them because I do get cold too. So I just have it on like in my house.
I'm just I embrace I wear layers at this point when it's in the 60s. I'm made for Florida and Missouri. So anyway, Natalie's got a question. Let's get to work here. She says, going down to May and doing only Epcot and the Animal Kingdom. Sounds like Scotty G's kind of trip. We want to do a character meal, but can't decide. Should we do Tusker House or one in Epcot? No kids, just 6 women in their 30s. LOL. All right. So Tusker House or a character meal at Epcot. No kids. What say you? I'm going to throw it to Scotty G first. He is actually a character meal expert.
I do. I like all these character meals, and honestly, I've not done Tusker House in a while. I think I need to add that to my list. It's been a very long time since I've been there. But when I first heard the question here, my mind just went to Garden Grill for some reason as a good character meal. I really like how the restaurant rotates. You can ride Living with the Land afterward to add like a little extension of your character meal there. Plus there'll be in May. The Flower and Garden Festival is going on, so I love spending a lot of time at Epcot during that time. So I'm leaning towards Garden Grill. I think the 6 ladies in their 30s would have a fantastic time at that meal.
So does your robot talk, by the way? Does it talk?
It was me. It's A, because she's hooked up to my security. I know. She's hooked up to her security camera. So she tells us like when there's movement on the driveway or at the front door or whatnot.
I'm supposed to be secure. I just wondered. Okay, no, back to Garden Grill though. No, I appreciate Garden Grill. So at Garden Grill, because I love Garden Grill. For one thing, the food is my jam there. So let's talk about the plus and minuses. You go to Tusker House, you're getting more. So Garden Grill is going to be family style, where Tusker House is going to be the buffet. You walk up there, you select yourself. It's going to be a little bit more like ethnic type food, a little bit more spicy, I would say, at Tusker House than Garden Grill. Garden Grill is more of like your kind of a home food, a little bit. Like your potatoes, your meats.
It's more interesting at Tusker House.
Yeah, you have more variety. Something
I don't like to say spicy because I don't find it spicy. It is spiced, but not like a spicy hot.
I think it's like not your traditional theme park food, I would say too. So again, and that's great. That's kind of why I like Tusker House too. And I love the characters and the safari outfits. I just haven't been to it in a while. I haven't been to Garden Grill in a while either, but Garden Grill more recent. So I think there's been a menu change sort of to Tusker House, but I don't know how much has actually changed since the last time I've been there. Isn't that right, Pam? I think.
Yeah, I think so too. They do refresh it often. I think the other thing, for me, when I heard this question too, I thought, oh, Garden Grill. And I have like a nostalgia feeling with Garden Grill because of course you get to see parts of the land and stuff like that. But food wise, I almost think I like Tusker House more. So like that's it. And if you don't have that connection with Garden Grill, I don't know, is it appealing or just a gimmick? Like I remember going as a kid, right? So I don't know. Maybe it is still appealing though. I don't know. Mike, what do you think?
So the way I'm looking at it with 6 ladies that are kind of having a celebration is that, okay, I'm looking at like the bigger picture, right? When you're done with the meal, I think the meal is going to be great either place because you're going to get good food and you're going to have really good characters. You got the Chippendale characters at Garden Grill. You're going to have Donald Duck, Daisy Duck, I believe, is at Tusker House. Is Mickey and Minnie, I think, at Tusker House as well?
I want to say Mickey is there and like Goofy. Last time I don't know if that's changed though, and like those Donald. Are always subject to change though.
Yeah, and they're
Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Mickey, I think.
Yeah. Either way, you're gonna have some fun pictures with the characters either place, right?
Yeah.
But here's I'm kind of like looking at beyond just the meal, right? When you finish the meal or prior to the meal, either way, you're going to be at Epcot at Garden Grill, right? And with 6 ladies, dude, that's I think that's more of an opportunity for fun. Like on this kind of a type of a trip than I think Animal Kingdom is a fun park too, but I'm just saying like for no kids kind of trip, like, and did she say when it was going to happen? Let me go back to
in May.
So
that's why the Flower and Garden Festival is going on. And
yeah. So I think that if I had my druthers, I'd probably rather like with 6 ladies, probably have a good time. And like, it's perfect time to be in Epcot. I'd rather probably end up at Epcot because the thing is you could snack around, grab a drink with your friends, opportunity to do a lot more other things. Not that Animal Kingdom's not fun, but I think you might have more fun in Epcot as a whole going to Garden Grill. What other character meals do we have in Epcot though? We
got the Norway Princess meal.
Akershus.
True.
Yep. Is that it? I'm trying to think. I think that is.
I believe those are the only 2. I mean, you can hop the Skyline or go to Topolino's, but like that's for breakfast only. Those
walk out the back and do Cape May, but that's only breakfast for character meals.
So we've given you something to think about. That's the teacher answer, right? We're not going to give you the answer. We're just giving you something to think about. Present it to the ladies and and see what happens.
Look at the menus for sure. I always say look at the menus.
Always look at the menus.
All right.
That should be a fun trip though.
Absolutely. Have fun. All right. I'm reading this one without reading the whole question. So here we go, Patrick. Traveling to the world this June with my wife and 8-month-old daughter. Ooh. Actually, it's 8-month-old's good. Like, dude, 18-month-old. Good luck, bro. It'll be my first time we fly and travel with our daughter. And we're first-time parents. Congratulations. So we're guessing we'll need to take it slow, but we'll also be with my sister, husband, and 2 elementary school age kids. So we'll have some extra hands at least. We're staying at the boardwalk. We've been debating whether to do 4-day park hoppers or just 4-day standard tickets. Will 4-day park hoppers be too much with our 8-month-old? Ooh, you're asking.
She's asking the wrong. I mean, we're all going to be on the same page here.
Yes, we're all like hopper because it just opens up opportunities for dining. I can't see Pam. There you are. Because the question was so long. Park hoppers, it just opens up opportunities to not have to concentrate so hard on like where are we going to end up for dinner, or where do we want to go after maybe like the kid is having a rough morning. We don't have to go back to that park. We go to this park. Do we all say that just the opportunity to have the park hopper just opens ultimate flexibility?
It does. And then plus, I think I always tell people I find more value in park hopping because you can take advantage of extra magic hours. The early, I know they're not called extra magic hours anymore. Early morning.
Early morning. What is it? I don't even know. It's just get up and go.
Yes, you can take advantage of that, or you could, if you're staying at a deluxe or a deluxe villa resort, you can take advantage of the evening extra time in the parks. So I think that offers a value. I think the other way it offers value is if one of the parks close early, like Animal Kingdom often does, then you can go to one of the other parks. And that's based on everyone's, feeling at that point in time. And with an 8-month-old and even with adults, that can vary day to day. But sometimes you're having a really good day, right? Everyone's like in a great mood and you have a ton of energy and you just like feel like you can go that evening, and maybe you hop over to Magic Kingdom and see the fireworks again, or go over to Hollywood Studios and see Fantasmic, or any of those things. So I cannot ever get past the park hoppers, and I park hop almost every day. So,
but the rule is for park hopper, don't forget, get it and use it, and get it before the trip, because if you don't want to get it halfway through the trip, because then it's an all or nothing proposition, right?
Mm-hmm. Same cost.
It's same cost whether you buy it, like say it's a 7-night trip and you buy it on day 4, you're paying for those first 3 days that you never had the opportunity to use it. So you don't want to buy it at that point. It's kind of dumb at that point.
Right, exactly.
You want to commit to it before the trip and just use it a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to pay for it the same price. So buy it and use it.
And Lightning Lane works with the park hopper too. That's something that we get a lot of questions on, whether they can use Lightning Lane with the park hopper, and you absolutely can. The system is smart enough to know that and to allow you to make reservations in 2 different parks. So it's awesome.
And we're a point counterpoint kind of podcast. And Veronica over on YouTube says, listen, drinking around the continents in Animal Kingdom is underrated.
Absolutely.
It's not like drinking around the world.
So we got
something about me with park hoppers, though. I don't know if I said this before, but I'm sure you two kind of feel the same way. Like, it almost feels like you get an extra day within a day. As weird as it is, because
in a day, exactly.
Because it gets you, especially with that family dynamic. Like, I think you're gonna want a break in the middle of the day. 100%. So for me, with the park hopper, I just love going back to my resorts, going back to the boardwalk in this case, relaxing for a little bit, changing your clothes maybe sometimes too. And then it feels like, oh my God, it's a brand new day now. Now I'm going to go to Hollywood Studios and I'm starting fresh over again. And you could probably think that if you went back to Magic Kingdom, if you started your day there, but there's something mentally with me, going to a different park that just feels like it's been refreshed for a brand new day. So I feel like I get more out of my vacation because of it. I'm getting more park days in quotes.
I agree. No, I totally agree with that. It is. It's like when you were at Magic Kingdom, each park has its own vibe. And especially Magic Kingdom has a very distinct vibe. And so let's say you spent all morning there. If in the evening, afternoon, that's where I was going back, I don't know that I'd be as excited as if I were going to another park that evening and then going back to Magic Kingdom another day.
Exactly right.
It's it's all new. So you're
that's why you always have a good park hopper.
And now that I look at it, they're going in June. So here's just another thing to add to that. It's a total reset, right? You go you go early in the morning, you go rope drop, you do whatever park rope drop till lunchtime, noon. You set your ADR up for the second park, right? Or around that second park. It doesn't have to be say you want to go to Epcot that night, eat at Trattoria El Forno on the boardwalk because you're there or something. whatever, somewhere in that general geography. But you take that afternoon break, you got an 8-month-old. The 8-month-old goes back and takes a nap and gets some coolness in the hotel room. The elementary kids are going to want to have some pool time. You grab a shower, put on a new outfit for the evening because that'll make you feel refreshed. It's a total reset. And
outfit changes means a lot to me.
Exactly what Scott just said. It's like getting 2 days in one day. It really is a mental reset, and it's almost like getting 2 days in one. It is.
Your 5-day trip just turned into a 10-day trip.
It's crazy. Mentally, it's like, oh my God, like we get, because like you look at your pictures, like where was I that day? No, it's the same day. It's just that night. It's just,
right.
It is wild, but Scott's exactly right. It's like 2 days in one. All right, question here from Sean. Do you know if Anna and Elsa are at the Norway breakfast? We have friends going later this year for the first time with their 2-year-old daughter who loves Frozen. They're not at the breakfast.
I don't think so.
You can go right over there and get a picture though after the breakfast at the meet and greet, right?
Exactly.
That's exactly what you can
I love
do.
that meet and greet setup. I love that addition to the. I know it's been around several years now, but they added those 10 out of 10 SG rated restrooms over there too.
That's right.
Then I just love the whole theme of that. One of my funniest character meet and greets was there with me and Georgia, our friend David from Georgia. Him and I just went in there and met the princesses. Him and I, it was a good time.
There you go.
It's so awkward when it's two dudes meeting the princess. I'm just saying.
Hey, how's it going? How's Norway? How's Sven? How's Olaf? Okay, we're gonna leave now.
Yeah, we're gonna move our way into the unknown and
yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Into the unknown.
That's
Get
too
out.
funny.
That's the jam though. I like that song a lot.
Just like a Jungle Cruise skipper. We're gonna be very polite and get out. And I love that Patrick says, can't wait for my wife to listen to this drops. Gonna casually let her listen to the show while she's on the treadmill. Yes, we encourage people when they're prisoner of the treadmill. A great time to listen to our podcast. Absolutely, because you can't hit the buttons to change to another show.
That's right.
All right, another question from Morgan over in the inbox. Morgan is in Manassas, Virginia. Hello, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott. We were able to snag a fantastic AP discount for a resort view room at the Grand Floridian this July. So we'll be staying there for just one night before a cruise. We're typically value moderate resort stayers, so we're super excited to treat ourselves to even one night at the Grand. We're a family of 4 with 2 boys, ages 2.5 and 11 months at the time of the trip. I'm wondering how you all would spend a day here to soak up all the fun the Grand has to offer. We're considering popping briefly into the Magic Kingdom or Epcot via the monorail, but we want to spend most of the day at the resort. We plan to fly in early from DC to get the most out of our day. I'd love to hear your ideas on where to eat for our lunch, dinner, and breakfast the following morning with any other suggestions you may have. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on the tea room, as the website doesn't give a ton of information on it. Thanks from a longtime listener, Morgan in Virginia. Oh, you're going to love it. That hotel gets you primed for a cruise. I can tell you that first, you're going to love your cruise. But this is the best way to get ready for a cruise, is at the Grand, because it's fancy. It's fancy, but it's not uninviting. I used to think it was I couldn't go there. I thought for sure if Mike Rallman went in there, I'd get kicked in the butt. And they don't kick me out, which is incredible. So, yes. Okay, Scotty G, this is kind of your jam, too. You take a first stab at this. What do you think?
Yeah, so sorry, I just got a text that Emily's school is closed tomorrow, so I'm just going to be very excited about that.
Is it because the cold or the snow?
I think it's a combo of both.
Okay, good.
And today, she has that app, guess the predictor for a snow day, and it had it at 31%. So the odds
it's like an over/under show right here. Boom, right here.
Yeah, but don't you love the interesting personal breaking news on a Be Our Guest podcast?
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Okemos High School is closed on Tuesday.
But yes, anyway, we all did this for the last Be Our Guest podcast cruise. We're all at the Grand Floridian.
Yes, we were, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's great for pre-cruise for sure. And I know they were talking about meals and everything. Gasparilla, I think, is one of my favorite counter services at all of Walt Disney World. So you have a nice pool day. You take advantage of the awesome pools. There's two great pools at Grand Floridian, and then hop over to Gasparilla, have a nice sandwich or something. Maybe have a little dessert of some sort. I think that just makes for a really nice, relaxing thing. And there's tons of activities you can do throughout the resort. I know there's a question about the tea room. Tea Room hasn't been open since 2020, unfortunately. I know we've had some great memories there, and that's something, Pam, we always talk about. Like, why can't they just bring this back? Right?
No,
it's January and they're not cruising until July, so there's hope. So just keep staying tuned.
Okay. We're bringing it. We're manifesting it, right? Like, bring back the Tea Room.
Happen because it could come back, but it isn't right now. But let's hope, because that is a great experience. I even liked it.
Yeah, because does the cake bake shop, I think, is doing tea, right?
They are, yeah.
And how fantastic would it be to have that Walt Disney World to bring it back at the Grand Floridian? They have like a couple different options for it, right? But yeah, so I know, as Mike just said, maybe in the next few months, maybe it will come back. It's been gone for a few years, but man, that would be magical, wouldn't it? If the Tea Room came back, because that was a really great experience.
It would. They have APs, obviously got an AP offer, so maybe they're gonna hop in, because obviously the kids don't need tickets. It looks like the 2.5 and 11 months. So they're good. So I'm guessing everybody can hop into the. So you could, the thing is, like, okay, you're excited about, say, the Grand Floridian. I'm thinking fireworks, right? Happily Ever After, must see the night before a cruise. You got to see Happily Ever After. I love that fireworks show. One of the best places I've ever seen it, and I've seen it there a few times, is right outside of Gasparilla's. You can see it right there on the steps, and you can grab like something like an ice cream from Gasparilla's. You can hear they play the music. It's a unique place to see it from. Obviously, you don't see the projections on the castle, but you do see the fireworks. Everybody kind of gathers out there. The Grand One's kind of in that area, the yacht. And it's a great spot if you just want to casually watch Happily Ever After, then make your way back to your room. That's kind of a neat way to do it if you're staying there. Pam, what else would you suggest? You've been there a few times, obviously.
I think, the pools at the Grand Floridian in particular, I really love both of the pools. I like the feature pool that has the slide and the waterfall, but I also really, really enjoy the courtyard pool. I think that's what they call it, the courtyard pool. Right. And it has its own sort of bar and quick service area, and the other one does too, but there's just something about that pool. It's big, it's quiet, it's fun. And I think it's definitely worth doing a monorail loop, whether you want to stop and get a snack or something to drink at each location or not. But I think it really lets you sort of embrace what is so cool about the Grand Floridian, and just one of the things that's so cool about the Grand Floridian, but that is the monorail that it goes through there. And that lets you see the Polynesian and also the Contemporary as well. I definitely spend some time seeing the fireworks, I think, from the Grand Floridian. I think that's cool. It's just a cool vantage point, like Mike said. And I think there's so many great choices for dining at the Grand Floridian. If you're looking for a really good sit-down meal, Narcoossee's or Citrico's is a great choice. You can also go up to the Enchanted Rose, which has drinks and appetizers, not quite as big of a menu as it once did. It's so weird. Steve and I were just talking about this as we sort of look forward to planning a trip, and we were looking at the different lounge menus. Territory Lounge, which for years used to have one of my favorite things to get at a lounge, and that was the fondue. It was just good and whatever. Now one of their offerings is popcorn. I'm like, popcorn. Okay.
So I've only been there that one time. Like, I came in for a few minutes, like met a bunch of guys, and we went, like, where we're going. We went somewhere, but it's just regular popcorn. Like, it's just like
flavored popcorn. I think it was like interesting flavored popcorn, and I'm just like,
you don't dip it or anything, or you just eat the popcorn?
You just eat the popcorn. Like, that's one of the appetizers that you could order. And I was like,
Enchanted Rose? Like at the Grand Floridian's bar?
No, this is a Territory Lounge. A Territory.
Like, how does that match the theme? I'm trying to figure this out.
I know. There was
well, that still doesn't match the theme.
No, it doesn't really, because like
lodge, it's almost like a trail mix or something.
I think if I sat there and they put a bowl of popcorn in front of me that it was included in the drink price that I was ordering, like that, I would be more impressed with. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, I know. So I'm just sort of like, sometimes they add stuff to the lounge menu that I'm like, oh, this is a great addition. Like, I'm going there specifically for that. And sometimes they take it away. So anyways, but there are some good choices, but it's worth doing that. to go ahead and head around and do those things. Plus, the other thing you can always do is take the monorail or the walkway over to the Polynesian and go to Trader Sam's, which does allow kids before, I think it is 8 o'clock at night, is the cutoff time for kids. So.
Plus, just one other thing to remember, you do have a character meal at your resort there if you want to do that. So you got 1900 park.
Yes, I forgot about that. It's back.
Yeah, little kids might like that. You get some awesome pictures. But the thing is, remember, here's a couple things. Remember, you're going on a cruise, you're going to get tons of character interaction on the cruise. So don't fret that if you don't want to spend the extra money because you're already, kind of splurging. You said you're kind of value moderate people. So you're, maybe you're, like me, like I don't like to spend extra money where I don't need to. You're going to get lots of character pictures on the cruise. So maybe you don't want to splurge at 1900 Park Fair, but maybe you do. So think about that. But if you want a nice sit down meal that's kind of budget friendly, actually, is Grand Floridian Cafe. That's a great. I know, Scott, you're kind of bitter because they took away your lobster thermidor and all that stuff. Scott's still mad.
Good burger.
It is a good burger. I know it is a great burger, but they still do have.
I think the breakfast now would be my main meal there, because of that change. Because the breakfast is really good, but I know because
it's every day.
Yeah,
like a brunch.
It is like a brunch. You're right. Yeah, but you were talking about how they have APs as the discount, but like I would just recommend just staying, like having like a resort day and chill day. That's kind of like the route I would go. Like I think we're all like in agreement there, and I don't know if everyone has the AP anyway, but like just make it a fun like monorail crawl, hang out at a resort kind of day.
Because as soon as you go into the Magic Kingdom, dude, you're just tempted, and you're going to be committed for like 3 hours of just running yourself ragged.
So when you make that splurge, right, for a deluxe, when you're normally doing values and moderates, like enjoy the resort. Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Well, Scotty G got on the green, so I got to get this question for our good friend Len, who you met down at the Beach Club, who is a fellow Sparty fan, and he says, "Hey, Mike," and this is for the show here. On our trip this April, we're traveling with my son's family down to the Riv. My grandson is a big fan of the animated Ariel. From our research, we understand that she can be seen at Akershus or Cinderella's roll table. It also seems that you can't really count on Ariel always appearing at every meal. I came up with a possible strategy that I'm wondering if you could give your opinion on if this may work or not. Without an ADR, do you think we could ask at the check-in desk if Ariel was appearing, and if she was, do you think we could have any luck getting a walk-up table for 6? I would guess that for Cinderella's, the answer is a laughable no, but any chance of that working at Akershus? Thanks for entertaining my weird idea, Len. So they're trying to get to meet Ariel. Like they're trying to make that happen. But they're trying to figure out like
doesn't she still meet at in her grotto?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I was just searching. I was like, oh, did the grotto close that I didn't know about? But
no, wait, like, right? And grotto is still next to the ride back in Fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just searched it to make sure. Like, oh, did it like is it temporarily closed or something?
Oh, well,
and maybe it might be under refurbishment in April. But I would just go to the grotto.
Now, does it matter?
And that would be the animated Ariel too.
Is it the animated Ariel? Because does that matter? I don't know. Okay.
That would be the animated Ariel though at the grotto.
Okay.
Well, so that would be my suggestion.
I'm not sure.
Huh.
That's the photo they have on the website.
Oh, do they? Okay, good. I was like, I knew at one point it had changed, but yes.
So they are, but back to the question about the meals too, the Akershus, the Cinderella's World. I mean, Len is well experienced Disney World traveler, and he knows that the chances are probably you're not going to get a walk up for 6 at either of those places. But again, does it hurt to ask? Probably not if you're in the
It doesn't hurt to ask, no, but I think it would be a challenging. And I think sometimes what's weird is I feel like sometimes the character meals are less inclined to do walk-ups than sometimes other meals because they sort of have it planned where people are going to be and blah, blah, blah and whatnot. It just, I don't know. Every now and then it's just, I think to myself, dang, I wish they were a little more flexible in that, but it's hard to do a walk-up at some of the more popular things. I would definitely plan on meeting Ariel though at her grotto.
That's a good tip. Well, here's one other thing.
Plus, it's a beautiful setting. I love like the grotto atmosphere. Like it's so good.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
great photos.
Cinderella's Royal Table is prepaid, so people are going to show up for that. You know,
exactly.
Not
That's when people don't cancel.
Exactly. You're paying, and it's fortune. Akershus is not prepaid, I don't think, but Cinderella's Roll Table is. And here's the other thing, just to be totally honest, I doubt the check-in person really knows who's like actively in the rotation at any given moment. They're probably not that in tune to like who's walking around in the restaurant at any given point. They're probably just seating people. You know what I'm saying? I bet you they don't know like who's in there at any given time. You know, because they're probably like so busy with doing just getting people to their tables. They probably know that there's characters meeting, but they probably don't know if Ariel's like one of the people at any given time. I mean, they could probably go in and take a peek for you, maybe. You know, there's many times in my job, the most obvious things I don't know because I'm so like worried about like the fine details. It's like, yeah, what time's the park open? Was Magic Kingdom open today? I don't know because I can tell you what the room rate is at Animal Kingdom Live. It's like, dude, don't ask me the obvious. All right, Veronica says animated Ariel's at Magic Kingdom, live action is at Hollywood Studios. So we got that in the chat. Thank you, Veronica. All right,
good. Thank you, Veronica.
Heidi has a question. Heidi ho, about ESPN transportation. So here we go. Hey, Mike, a BOGP crew. I'm headed down to Disney World in 2 weeks for my daughter's high school dance nationals competition. Good luck with that. Howell is headed there too. While we have visited Disney World a number of times in the past, we've never been there while attending a competition at the ESPN Sports Complex. So I have a few questions about transportation. We're planning to stay at Pop Century. Are there buses that will take us back and forth between Pop Century and the ESPN Sports Complex? We are also hoping to travel directly from the ESPN Sports Complex to the parks on a few of the days of our visit. Is bus transportation offered to any of the parks directly from the ESPN Sports Complex? I know as a cheer dad, you're familiar with what to expect at competitions held at Disney World. So if there's any other helpful insight you'd like to add, it'd be much appreciated. Thanks so much. I enjoy listening to every episode of the podcast and haven't missed one over the past 5 years. Thanks again, Heidi from Boise, Idaho. Yes, thanks for listening up in Idaho. First of all, good luck to your squad. I think hit 0 still counts for dance squads, but no deductions, and have a good time and kill it out there on the mat. And yes, okay, so the way it's going to work is you are going to have charter buses way at the end of Pop Century. They're going to be most likely, we just ask at the front desk to be sure, but just follow the herd. But typically they're down at the very end by Animal Kingdom stop, like the very end towards the 90s buildings. Like that's where they'll put the buses that are going to escort you over to ESPN complex. And they're going to look different than the Disney transport buses. They're going to be like the big motor coaches, the big comfortable buses, to be honest. And they'll have like a thing on the front that'll say ESPN. And so you get on that, it'll take you over to ESPN. That's great. And they run usually every 15, 20 minutes. They just continuously run throughout the competition. Now, can you go directly from ESPN to the parks? I don't think they do run to the parks. I think you do have to go back to your hotel and then catch a bus from Pop Century to whatever theme park you want to go to. I don't think you can do that. I can't remember because we never went like from.
So I would agree with that just from a Run Disney perspective, but I don't know about these other competitions, but I don't think they run buses to the theme park.
I don't think they do either during cheer. I mean, I don't think we ever did, but I never remember seeing like a slot for like Magic Kingdom, but there was always something back to every hotel. I mean, but here's another trick though. Here's a hack. If you don't want to go, but I mean, here's the thing though, ESPN and Pop Century are really close. So I was going to say, like, if you're really far, say if you're like at the Contemporary and you wanted to go to Animal Kingdom, you probably wouldn't want to get on a bus from ESPN to the Contemporary. You could just get on a bus from ESPN to Art of Animation and get on a bus from Art of Animation to the studios. You know what I'm saying? And catch a Skyliner to the, you got to be think about
that's what I would do too. Like I would take an Epcot bus and walk to Epcot, you know?
Right. So you don't necessarily got to go back to your hotel to go to a theme park, but you probably got to go to a hotel. And so you got to think about like what's closest and what's the most efficient way to get there. So remember,
I did that at Magical Express once from a Run Disney race, because I was staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge and that was going to be the 5th stop, but the first one was Pop. I'm like, well, I'm going to get off at Pop because I had to go to the expo, you know? So like, I'm going to get off at Pop first, and then I'll just take the bus from there, and then I'll eventually get to Animal Kingdom. So yeah, sometimes you can get creative with some of those hacks with the buses like that.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. Just kind of think about if you want to, just be creative. And the whole thing is with these dance competitions, you are there a long time just waiting for your team to get into you're watching 70 other teams from all around the world, and then you're just waiting for your 2.5 minutes on the mat. So just kind of like look at the schedule and say, okay, this is what we want to do. And, also be the spokesperson for your team and get everybody moving in the right direction. So once your team performs and they're ready to move, you're taking your pictures, you get everybody going and you guys get going to the theme parks and just have a good time. And also ESPN will have food and beverages. So if you want to get they will serve beers out there. They will serve, you're not going to get a great meal out there. That's the thing you got to watch for. They'll have like pretzels and hot dogs and nachos and kind of bad wings and stuff like that. So they'll have, stuff you would find at all the cheer dance competitions you'll go to around the country, because you've obviously done that many times, but you're going to want to go somewhere to get dinner. So I would maybe make an ADR. My go-to, I always get the team to go over to Old Key West. We always go to Olivia's because you can get a lot of people in there kind of last minute, boom, and everybody gets a good meal. Or go to City Works. We've gone to Disney Springs comes in prime. We've gone to Paradiso 37 because you can walk up there. I know that's not everybody's jam. We've gone to Splitsville, but you want to have a place where you can go and get everybody in that has a wide variety of menu options, because you're always going to have picky eaters with cheerleaders and dance girls, but everybody finds something they like. So just kind of have that in the back of your mind. Go get a good meal besides the food you're going to get at the arena over at ESPN. It's enough to get you through like a long afternoon, but dude, you don't want to eat it for 18 hours. It's just saying. You've been there, Scott, right? You don't want to eat that stuff. All right, I think we have one last question. Let's do it quick. It's a Keys to the Kingdom tour question. Hello, BOGP crew. I'm going on my first ever solo trip in February and staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Thanks so much to Mike for booking this trip. Thank you. I'm taking the Keys to the Kingdom tour and have a start time of 8 a.m. What is the best way to get there? And when should I leave? I'm not opposed to taking a minivan. Also, do they have a place where you can put your belongings like a backpack? Or would I have to carry whatever I come with for the tour? Thanks for always being so positive and providing me with great conversations to listen to on my drive to work. Kara is up in Massachusetts. Scott, you just did Keys to the Kingdom just in the last little bit. So what advice do you for Kara? Like what time? She's 8 a.m. Keys tour. She's staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
8 a.m. I would get on their first resort bus because the buses run early. They want to get you there, and you have the I'm guessing the park probably opens at 8, maybe, if there's an 8 a.m. tour. Like, I don't think it starts during like the extended magic hour, so that wouldn't make sense to me. So the park might open a little early, but yeah, just get on that first bus. It normally starts like an hour to 90 minutes before park opening. So just make sure you catch that first bus. That's what we did when we did ours. And then when it comes to like storing stuff, like, yeah, you would just, whatever, like you come with your backpack with things, you would just take that with you. Maybe you could rent a locker space. That's something I've actually never done in the parks. Like, I don't know if either of you have done that. I've never like stored anything like within a locker, so I don't even know like how big they are, honestly. But I would just plan to maybe travel a little light, because you would be taking that with you when you go on the tour.
And I would say make sure you pay attention to like restricted items, because they do have things you can and cannot bring because you are going backstage, and these tours do have those things. So you can go online and just Google Keys to the Kingdom tour Magic Kingdom, and it will tell you restricted items. And there are like special things, like sometimes you got to wear closed-toed shoes, stuff like that. So just be familiar if you ever go on a Disney tour that they do have requirements and restrictions. Pam, any other tips for things like this, because you've done these tours?
I think too, I was just going to echo what Scott said, is just be mindful of what you're taking with you. They do have lockers, not specific for that tour, but for any guests entering the park that day. It has been a long while since I've used these too. I think the last time Han was really little, so that tells you how long it is. The dimensions actually for the lockers are online, so that you can see how big of a bag you could leave there if you wanted to pick it up afterwards. So
I think enjoy the tour is awesome, Kara. You're gonna have a great time. Even as like you listen to the podcast, so you probably have a pretty good knowledge of Disney. Like, you will hear some things, but you're definitely gonna pick up on some things. And it's just cool. Like, each guy kind of tells their story a little different too, I think. So you'll have a lot of fun with it.
it's just cool to actually be in those environments, right? I mean, the whole thing too about tours, like you just feel like a VIP, right? Because you got the earpiece in, and people are like, the VIP guys walking, your guy or gals walking with like a stick, and you're just like, yeah, I'm on the tour, and you get a little. It's awesome. I mean, everybody deserves that. Like, it's a fun experience. It
really is.
You're a Disney fan. Like, it's good to treat yourself. Like, that's a whole thing. Like, solo trip is a perfect time to do a tour like this too. Like, because and the thing is also being on a solo trip, the camaraderie of that group is like everybody in that group for the most part is probably going to be like a Disney nerd, right? And like it's your people. I mean, it's the best way possible, right? It's your people. I love it.
Yeah, because they do the lunch where you sit as privately as a group. At least they did what I did. Like at what's that place? Columbia Harbor House. They kind of had you upstairs, like in your like own roped off area. So you'll probably sit with some other maybe solo travelers or another small group. So you get to learn about them, and kind of reminds me. I never done it, but kind of reminds me of Adventures by Disney a little bit. You got your private group, and then you get to learn about them. Who knows? You might meet a new friend for life from this tour.
Yeah, totally. It's so fun. You're gonna have so much fun. So, Kara, thanks for the kind words, and have a good time on your tour next month. February will be here before you know it. All right, so we're going to get out of here. We're going to be back on Friday, though. We got a great topic for you. Scott and Pam and I will be together, and we're just going to talk about, we're kind of take it back to the basics. When I was down there last month, or just a couple of weeks ago for the marathon, I was down there solo myself, and I got to thinking, it's not always the big things that really make me kind of re-fall in love with the Disney parks with my vacations. And one of the things that really stuck out with me about the trip, that one of the small moments that I really enjoyed, and I think I was talking about this with Simon on the call-in show the other night, was I had a chicken parm sandwich at Pinocchio's Village House one afternoon. And I just sat there and I watched the boats go by at Small World, enjoyed that sandwich. And they had skinny fries. I don't know where the skinny fries came from, but the fries were good. The chicken parm sandwich was good. It was kind of a cold afternoon. I just sat at the table, messed with social media, waved to the people in the boats, and just watched everybody go by in Fantasyland, because I was kind of at that first table where you could see the traffic in Fantasyland outside of Peter Pan. And I was just like, this is the good stuff, man. I didn't get in a hurry. I wouldn't have nowhere to go. And a few other moments like that happened throughout the trip. So we're going to kind of go around and just talk about where it's not always necessarily like rushing to the next lightning lane and stuff like that. Some of the basic small moments that really kind of make us re-fall in love with our Disney trips, even after 20, 30 times going down. It really makes it special for us. Coming back for that, we'll share ours, and then hopefully we can continue that conversation on Sunday night and on the Discord over in the Clubhouse too as well. All right, don't forget today's podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We've been busy as beavers planning those trips for our guests this week. I'm telling you, man, people are ready to get out of the cold weather. Makes people book Disney trips. I will tell you that firsthand. My fingers falling off, because when that temperature drops, people are like, man, I got to get out of this stuff. And I'm right with you, man. I'm just telling you, if it cruise, yeah, let's do it. You want to go to Disneyland? Oh, okay. You want to go to Walt Disney World? Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Beach Club sounds really good when the wind chill's like 15 below. Let's do it. So come on over to magicforless.com. You can see all the details, great trip planning site. And while you're there, fill out the quote form, costs you nothing. And then we'll get you some numbers, some availability, talk to you about some options, and bam, boom, bing. And before you know it, it'll be July. You'll be like, oh my God, it's so hot. I'll be like, yeah, but you booked this when the wind chill was 15 below back in January, and you're having to go get a margarita. You're sitting at Beach Club, you're at Stormalong Bay. It's awesome. And we'll take great care of you. Always get you the best deal, cost you nothing extra. So check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible. We could not do this without you. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on the social media at beourguestmike for me, at Scott for Scott, at TMFLT Pam for Pam. You can also check out Scott at Must See Adventures on YouTube. And right now he's over at Disneyland Paris. So make sure to check out that video as well. All right. We are going to be back on don't forget the live show Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. Give us a call. We're talking Disney with you. All right. So we'll be back again on Friday. Lots of fun. So we are going to be waiting for you. So be there or be square. That's so old. I don't know why I said that, but I did. All right. We're going to jump out of here. See you on Friday. So for Scott, and Pam. I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right. So that one went well.
That was good.
E2. I'm glad I got the good software working again.
What happened last time?
I just couldn't. For some reason, the 23 version of Audition wouldn't work, so I had to load up Audition 2024, and the settings were all different.
Isn't it crazy how computers like do stuff like that?
Yep.
You're like, wait, I was just doing this yesterday. What do you mean?
Well, because thank you, Kelsey. Yeah, because I was gone for like that week, and I swore somebody came in here and touched the mixer because one of the channels was down. I was like, what? But I mean, I don't know why anybody would. Like, who's gonna in here and play podcaster while I'm gone? Nobody. So next week we can record on Monday if you guys are still good, right? Good. Monday. But the next week, can we do that Tuesday thing? Because I'll be at Disneyland again.
So I'll be in Vegas. So
yeah.
Might not.
What's the date?
It is
the 3rd, 2nd or 3rd, I think.
Yeah, it is something like that. Hang on, today. Yeah, it'd be the I'd need to record on the 4th.
I think I can.
It'd have to be like 2 quick shows because I'd have to publish them and edit them that night real fast.
Yeah.
Because my flight comes in late on Monday, the 3rd.
I think I should. I put it in the calendar.
Sean will not be in here. Holy cow, I got a lot of. Okay.
So basic things we love. Just something kind of low key.
We'll just this is gonna be like this kind of a hanging out talking show.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how it goes. All right, here we go. 26:30. Welcome to episode 2630 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're getting ready for a great weekend as it is. Well, I know Scott doesn't want to talk about this, but it is championship weekend in the NFL. And we should probably talk football. Let's don't. So we're just going to talk Disney. We're going to have a good time. I don't have a dog in the fight either. So you know what I'm talking about. College football's over. So I'm good until August. So let's talk some Disney. Let's have a good time. And we're going to have a fun time with the crew today. Scott and Pam are here. And I like these kind of shows. We're just going to kind of hang out and take it back to the basics. Take it back to not necessarily where it all started for us, but kind of in the spirit of why we fell in love with Walt Disney World, why we fell in love with the cruise line, maybe why we fell in love with Disneyland. I mean, I didn't go to Disneyland until just a couple of years ago, but I still, I'm going out there again in less than a week, and I'm getting super excited for that experience again. So we're just going to talk about those basic things, not the big things necessarily, but sometimes those small moments that just make us say, man, I really do love these vacations. They're really special to us. We're going to have a good time, hopefully take you along for a little mental vacation, because there's nothing better when it's this cold in January in most places in the United States. So let's do it today. Joining me, Scotty G from up in Michigan over at Must See Adventures on YouTube. What's up, Scott? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Still just dealing with this cold. Like, I love the state of Michigan. Our summers are gorgeous. Spring is great. Fall is great. But dang, do I hate the cloudy, gray, cold winters. And this is about the point where I'm just over it. So I need to go on a cruise soon, basically. I need to just see some sunshine here really soon.
You are actually.
Oh yeah, I think I might be. Yeah, that's maybe that's why I planned that.
What's your countdown? Like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so, I think. Something like that.
I'll be from the time this is airing, 2 weeks. I'll be on the Disney Wish again. Excited to experience the Disney Wish, and the Disney Wish is like great because the way the itineraries are right now. Like I'm not. We all, and I know all three of us are this way. Like 3-night cruises are not our favorites, right? Like they're just gone as snap of the finger, but they work really well for weeks for just a quick weekend taste, right? Like you just want to, it's like what I'm doing. I just want to escape Michigan for a weekend, see some green grass, some blue skies, feel some sunshine. the 3-night cruises, great for that. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
So let me ask you this. So you're taking, I think we've talked about this a little bit on the show, so it's not really a big secret. You're taking your in-laws kind of as a gift. And I know how you guys, you're very much like me. The anticipation is very much part of the experience. Getting ready extends the whole overall experience, because like the 3 days, like I said, it's going to go like so fast on a cruise. What are you doing at home to kind of amp up the excitement of the cruise, and also to get your in-laws ready for their first DCL experience? They've cruised, but not DCL.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of like talking about what we want to do on the ship, talking about the dining, like maybe thinking about like a pirate costume, because my father-in-law loves pirates. Like every time we go on a trip, like not every time, but at least once a year, we buy him like a new Pirate of the Caribbean shirt, like at the Magic Kingdom, So we talked about, well, do we just all wear Pirates of the Caribbean shirts or something on Pirate Night? So we're just doing some small planning like that. So it's just super exciting. Another cool thing is, there's a lizard. BRGS podcast lizard Neil is getting married on the ship. Like,
we talked about that marathon weekend. I said, guess who's going to be at your wedding? He's like, I know. I was like, how about that?
So what are the chances? So that's going to be cool. So we get the experience, like we've been invited, so we're going to get to watch the wedding, So like, there's been thoughts about that. And like, since this was last minute, it's not a BRGS podcast cruise, I don't have to worry about fish extenders, which is great, because sometimes that is one of the most stressful things about a cruise.
It is.
Katie, the other day, if she could start a fish extender group for our podcast cruise.
Who was?
Katie.
Oh,
Katie Nardella. I said, you can. I said, don't let my wife catch wind of that. She'll punch you in the nose. But
no, they're fun. They're fun. They're just can be a little stressful at times. And then like, because we have like, it works for us because we do the same thing every year basically, so it works out really well. But then it's like, dang, you need to bring like another whole suitcase just for like fish extenders, like the traveling gets a little challenging with it.
I would have no vessels to drink liquids out of if it wasn't for the gardeners, because they're the .com. And I always I take them on my other cruises when they're not podcast cruises, and everybody compliments like, where'd you get that? Scott Gardner. Okay. Also, Pam Forrester's here. She's from the Magic for Less Travel, co-owner, and patiently waiting for Mike and Scott to shut up and get her introduced. What's up? Hello.
Pam likes cruising too, so
I do. I know. It's like I continually look at different like cruises, different rates, like whatnot. So especially like everyone else, once the weather gets cold, you start thinking, why am I here? Right. And the good news is you can, sometimes plan, especially with World and Land, you can plan sort of a last minute vacation and, hopefully get a special or whatnot. A cruise is not quite so easy because it's better off to plan those way far in advance, but every now and then you can. And like, we have that kids get half off special on the cruise and stuff like that. But yes, I love cruising. There's nothing that makes me as relaxed as I am when I'm cruising.
Is there? I know. Seriously, for folks that haven't cruised, and we are a theme park podcast. I mean, but we also talk a ton of cruising here, because I will be, and I think we all three are in agreement. There is no better feeling than when you step onto a cruise ship, because the entire cruise is in front of you. Like the suit. And this is my personality and not your guys' personality, but like you wake up day 1, day 2, you're still relaxed, but I mean, you realize, okay, like 20% of my cruise is gone. Like I don't dwell on that, but I mean, it does come up a little bit in my brain. Like when you're going through the threshold and they're saying your name and you first get on that ship, like you haven't even had that first meal in Cabanas or Marceline Market or what have you, wherever you're going. Sitting down in Enchanted Garden or whatever, everything, every possibility is in front of you. All your port adventures, all of your tastings, all of your shows, you haven't even seen your cabin yet.
Right.
God, because you've been looking forward to it for so long. Like it is just the best feeling in the world. There's nothing better for me.
It's the best. And that's the downside of that 3-night itinerary I was just talking about, because you'll go to bed and then you're like, well, I have to pack tomorrow.
Because I just did that right with bed. I know.
But you know what? A 3-night cruise, I'll say this all the time, is better than a 0-night
cruise.
That is very true. Very true.
I'll be sitting here punching the face cold, and you'll be sitting on the deck of a cruise ship. So 100%. All right. So today we're just going to kind of casually sit around, talk a little Disney with you guys, keep you company here over the weekend, and came up with this idea of a show. Again, like I said on Wednesday, I had this great moment when I was down over Marathon weekend. And again, I had a really good morning because I went to Gaston's Tavern that morning and had one of the big cinnamon rolls and Coke Zeros and just kind of chilled out there and did some attractions. It was a really cold morning that day. So I went in and did, I was trying to just like stay, really, it was a cold morning. So I went in and did Philhar Magic, which I hadn't done in forever because like I just kind of want to get out of the cold wind. And I was like, that's a good show. I haven't seen it. Pam loves Philhar Magic, but I hadn't done it in a while. And I was like, that's because I hadn't seen the Coco edition. That was fun.
Oh, I love that edition. So good.
Yeah.
It was one of those shows where they didn't take anything away. They added to, which was awesome.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out, did they not take anything out at all? That's what I was trying to think of. They didn't take anything out. Okay. Because I knew Peter Pan was still in there. The Aladdin scene was still in there. I was trying to think.
It was just an addition to the show, which was great.
That's a miracle for Disney lately. Okay. I also did like Winnie the Pooh. Like when I did it like with you on the phone that night, I was like, I hadn't done this in ages either. And that was kind of fun. It was kind of weird that I was doing it by myself, but it was kind of fun. But I just went around and by the time I made it down for lunch, I was like, I want to try something I haven't tried in forever. And since I was solo, I did a ton of counter service. The only 2 table service meals I did the entire marathon weekend, I did Rick's. I walked up to the bar at Rick's twice. That was it. Everything else was counter service. And so I did Pinocchio's Village House. I just kind of looked on the app and I saw they had a chicken parm sandwich and that picture looked really good. So I was like, well, let's see if the picture looks like the real thing. And it was rocking. It was so good. And the whole reason I picked it was because I wanted to get one of those tables. It was cold. And I wanted to get a table by Small World, kind of just chill out, look down. And that's exactly what it was. I got the table. Now, if you can picture, if you've been inside Pinocchio's Village House, there's those tables that are kind of in the main dining room that are right along the window there for Small World. Well, there's actually one table that's kind of up by the front door. As you come in from Fantasyland, from like the main thoroughfare across from Peter Pan, there's a table right there as you come in that actually does still overlook Small World. It's a smaller table. It's like a table for 2. And so I sat there because there's nobody up there. I sat there and I could see down into Small World. I could see out into Fantasyland, that thoroughfare over by Peter Pan, and just sat there and enjoyed this great sandwich, great little skinny fries, just messed around on my phone for a little bit, kind of like looked at my pictures from the race that morning and just tweeted with people, talked to people, chatted with my FaceTime, my girls back home. And I was just sitting there thinking, this is kind of awesome. Like, you could hear the background loop, the yodeling or whatever out of
I love that loop.
Like
maybe after like 30 minutes it might get a little
exactly. It was okay for a while. But like it was the essence of like, because it was fun to see people like, because you saw people like in line for Small World. Like it's just funny watching people in line, right? Because people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff in line. But then you saw people on the boat and you would see, like just like big old dudes like Bubba, like on Small World. They're having, and they're just like selfie in it, and you would think they were the toughest guy in the world, but they're on this Small World boat and they're going under that thing, the happiest cruise that ever sailed sign. And they're just, you would think like this guy probably rides a Harley, and is probably like an iron worker. But right now, dude, he's living his best life, getting ready to see 8,000 dolls dancing the hula here for the next 20 minutes. It was, it's just one of those things like, this is like, it's so great. I'm sitting here and I think it was like a Friday morning, like Friday at 11:30, I'm eating a chicken parm sandwich with some fries and just watching everybody like being kids, like riding on a boat. And Walt Disney, developed this for the World's Fair back in the 60s. And here it is, 2025, and it's still going strong. It's bringing people together. And I love this. Like I was just sitting there like, I love where I'm at right now. This is the bomb. And it was a small moment. This is why I go. Like I wish I could have been there with my family. I wish I could have been there with Scott, Pam, all you guys. But I was living in the moment. I was there by myself, and it is what it is. But I was still having a good time by myself, and I loved it. So that was one of those things like, life's pretty good right now. So a small moment like that. So kind of what I want to talk about today. Like that's why I go back. I didn't eat a big fancy meal, chicken parm sandwich, watching people get on a boat and just live their best life while I was peering down and enjoying themselves. It was pretty cool. So Scott, what kind of things come to your mind when I kind of talk about that?
Well, I started thinking about because you kind of worded like basic things we love. And this is just, just something I've been doing for many years now at Walt Disney World, and that's the morning resort walk.
Yes.
Like I'll go on a run sometimes too. Like I love like getting a little jogging in the morning, but there's something about like just walking the resort grounds, and you could just feel like the energy from for the day, right? You see like families, like you're just watching people do all these different things. Like there's a dad holding like 5 resort refillable mugs. You're just like, oh, that poor soul. Like I get him, like his family's getting ready and he's gonna get all the coffees or whatever. Good luck bringing that back to the room. And then you see like another family getting ready to go to the Skyliner or whatever. They've got their matching shirts on. And then you'll go to the food court. I'm kind of thinking like Pop Century almost here as I visualize this, but I love going to like the food court in the morning where I'm not in a hurry. I'm just relaxing. I'm not needing the road drop, but you just watch the whole dynamic of like what every people's doing. And like my family love to ask this question, like what's their story? Like what's that family up to today? Are they going to go to Epcot or like what are they going to be doing?
Not to cut you off too, but I'm always like, I wonder, like, are they on day 2 of their vacation? Are they on day 7? Or did they just get it? I'm exactly the same way. Like, I always want to know what's their story. I'm the same way.
So I just love and I don't know why, like the food court almost is like the best spot for that, because that's where like a lot of people are there, like, and there's just a lot happening. You'll see like lots of empty tables and chairs early on. The longer you sit, then they'll start filling and all that. And it's just like a fun way for me to start my day as I just see all these families and couples or whatever just starting their Walt Disney World day. And there's so many different paths they're all going to take, but I know they're just all going to have a great time. Well, most of them should have a great time.
We're going to say they have a great time.
We're all going to, yes.
There's many pitfalls in a Disney day, right?
Sometimes you can spot the person though, right? That's like a person that like just they're wearing a grumpy shirt or whatever it is. Like you can already tell, like, oh, they're starting off the day bad, But
if you're wearing the most expensive day ever shirt, you're setting yourself up for.
You're setting yourself up, yeah. And they're with like 200 cheerleaders or something at a big table. Yeah, they're in trouble.
Cheerleaders are okay.
I just love the morning at the resorts. It's just one of my favorite things. And I like rope dropping too. There'll be days where we're just hustling to quick get out there to the car, to the bus. But when you take those casual, slow mornings, there's just nothing like it.
You know what though? Speaking of that, I want to address that too. I bet you less than 10% of people have ever gotten up and enjoyed like a sunrise walking around a resort, which is a shame because it doesn't matter what resort you're at. The boardwalk, yacht club, beach club, just one lap around Crescent Lake, or like, especially like Port Orleans, Riverside, French Quarter, walking along the Sassagoula, but Art of Animation and Pop Century walking around Hourglass Lake is one of the most beautiful sunrises. Caribbean Beach, the Riviera. Oh my gosh.
You could do them at all except like Animal Kingdom Lodge, I feel like, because that's the struggle one.
Yeah, that's a struggle. But you could sit on your, you can't really walk around. You got to look out on your, boo-hoo. You get to look out at the jillion animals that are awesome. You just don't get to walk. But yeah, I think a lot of people are so focused again on the parks that, but if you ever get the opportunity, one day out of your trip, get up early and just stroll. Because you're right. It is
so good, man.
Such a cool energy as the resort comes alive for the day. It's really cool. Pam, what about you? Where do you fall on this?
So it's so funny because we were actually planning sort of our next trip and thinking about what we want to do next time and wherever. And I just was like, oh, as we're talking about all these things we want to do, you want to know what I didn't do is make park reservations. Like I haven't made them yet and we're coming up on it. So it's funny how your priorities sort of change in that. And we were talking about all the things we wanted to see and do. And I think for me, one of the first things that happens when we get there is we're at a resort, right? We check into our resort. And no matter what resort it is, I have this moment when we walk into the lobby and you sort of like relax because you're there, right? You don't have to, you're done schlepping your luggage because you've given it to Bell Services at that point. You're there. And I love the feeling of a good hotel lobby. Mm-hmm. Like I like smelling it. I like hearing all the hustle and bustle. I like, especially like at the Yacht Beach Club and so many different ones. There's so many different ones.
As soon as you said that, I smelled Yacht Beach Club. Like seriously, I'm like,
no. Yes, right? You can smell it. But there are these great little seating areas where you can sit and sort of watch people as they're sort of like going through the lobby. Like you said, Scott, whether it's the morning or the afternoon or the evening, it's really fun to do. So I love the ones at both the Yacht and Beach Club. I love the Grand Floridian lobby because there's so much going on there. I think Animal Kingdom and Wilderness Lodge both have really great lobbies. But there's some great ones too, like the moderate resorts. I think even just sitting there, you can sort of see it. At French Quarter, there's that sort of fountain where you can watch all of that. At Riverside, they have, what part of what used to be the old story of Riverside, where you would go and exchange these, I think they were called Dixies, right? Where you exchange that. There was that whole thing, go to like bank tellers and do that. So you could do that. Caribbean Beach, that lobby got redone a few years ago and it's fantastic. But I just love the feel of that because you see people coming in and they're excited, right? They're excited for the vacation and little kids are like, Mom, look at that. And, Dad, look at that. That part's really cool. You see people on their way to the parks. You see people coming back from the parks and sort of talking about, their experiences and they're excited about it. And you see people coming back from the parks that are really tired and worn out, right? And they think it's like they just want to say to their family, okay, can you not talk for the next 2 minutes, please?
I'm overstimulated. Like
exactly.
I'm like 2 days before spring break.
Right.
But why is that so peaceful to us? Like I feel like as I got older, like I appreciate naps more, but like I feel like I could just sit in the Animal Kingdom Lodge lobby right now and just like nap and just listen to everything around me.
Music.
It's like I'm at peace.
Put me up by that little fire pit.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, with a zebra dome. Oh.
I know there's something about being somewhere where you're sort of out there and in it with everyone, and yet you're sort of by yourself. You're like an observer of all these things. And I think we all have such fantastic memories of these locations that we can just sort of envision like what's happening or what's happened. Like you, Scott, we make up stories for like everyone we see. We don't speculate. We're like, this dude, he's there with his wife's family. It's day 3.
He's the main character, as they say.
Yes. He's like, oh, what did I do? And then like this guy, he's the grandpa and he's having the best time because he can see everything that the kids are doing, but he doesn't have to worry about it because he's not the dad, he's the grandpa. And he gets to be like, yes, I'll buy you that 3rd ice cream of the day. And you want that toy? Absolutely. We'll get that for you. It's annoying.
And then there's the guy you're like, he's been at Martha's Vineyard a little too much this trip. He looks a little run down.
It's my brother's credit card that's on the account.
100%. But yes, we make up stories like that about everyone that we run into. And then we often will see kids like doing something that's sort of questionable behavior. We're always like, oh, Dad's watching them. And there you go. You see Dad off to the side somewhere. He's checked out. He doesn't care what they're doing. He just knows they're not right there in front of him, like fighting with each other or asking him for something else. So he's going to, but no, it's such a good time. And you just know everyone's going to make these really fantastic memories. And that's what it's all about. And I think just being able to observe all that and see it, I think is a really cool part of the vacation.
That is so funny. That was one of the best 3 minutes this podcast has ever had right there. That was great. So mine actually kind of piggybacks on that I have on my list. Like what I wanted to talk about was that one of my moments too from this trip that I really enjoyed is, so I was staying at Coronado Springs and I was right next to bus stop 2 in the Ranchos, right? So you walked out of my room. I was on the 3rd floor. I go down this 2 flights of stairs right across the parking lot there, and the bus stop, those little like sheltered bus stops there at Coronado. And I would sit out there and just wait for my bus to come. So sometimes you'd wait, like if I was going to the studios, Epcot would come by, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Springs, whatever. But it's so funny when you're solo, you kind of sit there. And of course the road's there, and across the road is kind of like a little lake or lagoon out there in the grass, where there's some trees. It's a great people watching though. Cause like you hear people, give some information that's correct about their days that they're ready to accomplish. some information is semi-correct and some information is just God so wrong. But I mean, and that's the problem as a Disney expert, right? And we're listening to the show. You're probably a Disney expert as well. Like, God, do you jump in and just try to save these people, or do you just let them just learn and, live and learn? And I'm a live and learn person. You know what? Because it's hands-on, right? I mean, if I know it's going to be tragic, I will kind of go.
Agreed.
Like, I know, like if they're going to get on the wrong bus and like, like it's going to be like 2 hours, I will tell them. But I am also I'm not like a know-it-all kind of person. Like if it's something minor, it's none of my business, right? They're gonna figure it out when they get to the park. Like they'll figure it out. So it's a fine line. But I do like to kind of sit there. But okay, so when I was there, so I really enjoy that environment of sitting there in those little bus corrals and just waiting for my bus and just I do kind of like the eavesdrop and just listen to the excitement of what everybody's getting ready to do. Like they're going to the springs, we're talking about, we're going to the boathouse, we're going because some people are dressed up more and some people are, in their flip-flops, Crocs, going to the Magic Kingdom, whatever. It's fun to hear everybody's excitement. So, but side story with that, I was sitting at that bus area. I don't know what park I was going to, it didn't matter, but there was a family there and the dad, he tells, he's probably a little younger than me. Probably 40 or something. He's probably a lot younger at this point. I still think I'm like 41. But he says to his family, he says, I wonder if there's Crocs in that lake. And so he continues talking, so I'm just like, well, yeah, I've kind of wondered that too. I didn't say it out loud, but I mean, I've always wondered, any body of water in Florida, there could be Crocs in it, right? I mean, it's Coronado Springs, there's that lake right by the tower. There could be a crocodile in there. I don't know. Or not a crocodile, an alligator. What am I saying? An alligator. It's Florida. It's not a crocodile. It's a gator. Anyway, I don't think nothing of it. I sit down, I'm waiting for my bus. I look up, dude is across the street. Like, dude, he's like over, like on the banks of that water, dude. He's got his feet like in the water. I'm like, we're about to find out if there's a gator in that water.
This is going to be on the news.
Either the dude's going to get taken in by him, or that dude is going to be like walking across that water like Jesus Christ in like 2 seconds, because that thing could be chasing him across that lake. I mean, it's going to be crazy because
the Florida man story in the making.
I don't know where this guy's from. Like, is he from Ohio? Is he from Wisconsin? I mean, dude, if a gator pops out of that water, we're going to see some magic happen really fast. But he just said it in passing to his family, like, I wonder if there's gators in that lake. And I never gave it a second thought because I think the same thing. Every time I see water, I'm like, I wonder if there's gators in that. But I swear, like, I sat down, I was, just hanging out, drinking a Coke Zero, waiting for my bus. Next thing I look up, dude is in, like, he's like, his feet are in the water across the street. I'm like, we're about to see it happen. So I'm just saying, like, there's moments like that where you just got to let the magic happen to you, but thank God nothing happened. I mean, because it could have been tragic, but I mean, like, holy cow, the guests of the magic sometimes. I mean, whew. But I was just like, and again, I didn't want to say anything, but I'm thinking, Lord, get out of the water. Like, they're real. If there is a gator in there, it's real, and it is really going to take your foot off. At least I don't know. Like, I've never been bit by one, but I mean, people have been killed by gators at, Walt Disney World. It's tragic. I mean, I was there when it happened to that kid, and like, it's just one of those things, like, holy smokes. I couldn't believe it was happening. I mean, this was a full on 40 at least year old man, like the dad over in the lagoon. Unreal. I mean,
I have the visual too. I know exactly. I know that bus stop, and like,
it's right across the street, that little lake. Yeah.
It's kind of, it's an interesting setup there. And like, I've always kind of the walk over there. Like, I feel like you can't cross the road there. Like, I feel like bad things happen if you cross the road. And
I mean, nothing happened I got on my bus came and they were still there and he was still over there. So I don't even know. I mean, who knows? I'm just going to say he went back to his family happily ever after. That's my solution to this story. So Scott, but what I do like is just those corrals, just kind of listening to kind of be besides for that guy, because that guy made me a nervous wreck, because I can just picture him. Gator pops out, dude. He is running, skimming the water. Like just walking on water across that lake. But that's what would have happened in my mind's eye. So what else you guys got?
Real quick, back to that though. You were talking about like overhearing people and like, should I tell them? Should I not? It's always best probably not to. But how about the opposite though, where someone like starts telling you stuff that is like so obvious and like,
right?
You just have to be like, Thank you.
I politely accept the information and then just kind of let it go.
I know, because I've really gotten my hand smacked a couple times when I've tried to help people. Like, you know what I mean? Even stuff that I now have learned, like I keep it to myself most of the time. Unless, like you said, Mike, it's going to cause some kind of, catastrophe, basically. But like you try to help people and just be like, I don't know that you should do it this way or whatever. And then they're like, oh yeah, well, who do you think you are? And I'm like, you know what? Never mind. You're right. Do it this way.
My grandpa taught me, don't put your nose where it doesn't belong.
Yes.
So I
100%.
subscribe to that philosophy unless like I know like, dude, they're gonna end up in like Kissimmee if they get on that bus.
Right.
Like that's it. That's where I draw the line. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
So another one I wrote on my list. And this is something I kind of taken away from the Be Our Guest podcast because I just love learning about people. Like we've met so many great listeners from different parts of the world and hear their story and all that. So I like to do that with cast members too. Like I love talking to cast members. You see like some small town, Michigan or something like, hey, I'm from Michigan. I'm from like right here. I get out my hand, do the mitt thing. Like where's that town at? Or like where did you go to school? Or like do you like Michigan or Michigan State? Or like our international cast members are actually my favorite to talk to because like you learn so much about how they got to the United States or what made them come to Florida and all that. So like I just love just taking the time to talk with cast members, and especially the best ones for me are like if you're at a lounge or you're sitting like at a bar and it's easier to have like that one-on-one interaction. You can like talk to them while they're serving or waiting on other customers. Like I just think it's so cool to learn their story and what got them to Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I found that out too. Like I said, the only two places I sat down to eat was at Rick's sports bar, and I sat at the bar because I was by myself. Just walked up and I got a steak sandwich with waffle fries. By the way, if you want a good steak sandwich, that's the place to go, Rick's, because they had the sports on, and like you said, the bartender there was super cool. Like,
they all are.
you talk to, hey, what are you here for? And I told him about, the races, and he was always filling me up with my Coke Zero. Actually, the Coke Zero was out. So the guy went and got me like bottles of Coke Zero and just like, cool. I know he's like super cool. And he just asking about the races because he knew runners were around, but I mean, basically there's a lot of big conventions going on. And the cool thing is too, like you can also, at a place like that, like a bar, because I don't go to, I don't sit at bars very often. I mean, we don't go out to bars, but like other people, like there were conventioners asking about the races, and like I was asking them, the other guests too, opportunity to talk to them when you're a solo traveler. It was kind of fun because I've never, I never go to bars, and I definitely don't travel solo, but it was kind of fun to hear like they were there for like this medical convention, and they were doing all their thing, and they're asking about the running. So it was a neat thing.
Sometimes the bartenders will be like the Disney bus drivers sometimes, like, and they'll go a little rogue on some facts, I'll just say, but they're so interesting to talk to. And like, yeah, kind of going back to like being solo, that's a great place to do it because then you're talking to other people at a stool or whatever at a lounge. So that's always a great place to go if you're going solo too.
There was a guy that I didn't, he was about 5 stools down, which I wanted to go get a picture with him, but he left before I finished my meal. He had a Ohio State jersey on with a Notre Dame hat.
Oh,
and I wanted to like go get his story and especially a picture with him, but he got out of there before I could get
it. It was Marcus Freeman's dad because he's like he's a Buckeye season holder, but his son coaches for Notre Dame.
Oh, so. I was like, dude, I gotta get that guy's story. Like he is confused. I was like, what is that guy? What's going on with that guy? But everybody was like liking on the guy. I mean, he was getting all the attention in the world, which is maybe what he was trying to do. So he's probably torn. Okay, well by now he's happy either way. All right, Pam, what do you got? Give us a story.
So many, like it's so funny, all the different things that we do. But I'm going back to the resort again. I know that's what I talked about the first time, but I will say when I am at a room where I have a balcony or a patio, there is something about spending time in that location that just makes my trip, whether it's 10 minutes before we walk out the door or an hour or two, like when the sun's setting or in the morning, like Scott talked about. There is really something so appealing about that space. And I think it's something that sometimes I don't really remember, like how much when we have that space, we utilize it, but we do. we'll go out there in the morning and drink coffee. And if you've ever been in a resort that I'm at, you will see me in my pajamas there drinking my coffee because that's what happens every time. Almost no matter what the weather is like, I'm out there, at least for a little bit, just enjoying it. And you get to hear, all the wildlife, because there's tons of wildlife at every Disney resort. You get to hear, the resort waking up and whatnot. But then like in the afternoon, when we come back to our room for a little bit, we're out there again, having a drink, having some water, just, sort of taking it in, relaxing. The cool thing is you can usually hear like the background loop at the resort and stuff like that. And then in the evening, when we come back, if we have a view of like the fireworks or some fireworks, we'll sit out there. But even if we don't, we just enjoy that space. And it's the exact same on a cruise. I am incapable of traveling on a cruise without a veranda. Whether I spend 15 minutes out there during the cruise or 15 hours out there, I need to have that. Being able to look out and see it and spend time out there again. There's just something about being able to do that. It kind of feels like your own private space. Again, this must be a recurring theme for me, right? I want my own little area out in the public, though. I want to be out there with everything, but I want it to be my own little area.
Your little safe place.
Yes, right? You just appreciate that so much. So,
and it makes it, even though it's probably adding, 5% square footage wise to your overall cabin square footage, it makes it feel like it's 50% bigger.
100%. Just being able to look out and see the ocean. Like, I can't imagine not being able to do that 24/7 when I'm in my stateroom on a cruise. I just like the whole time. We have the curtains open pretty much all the time. Go out there at night when you can't see much more than the waves hitting the ship. It's the same thing for the resorts too.
It's funny, Pam. Me and Mike were just talking about this.
We had this conversation.
Oh, seriously?
That's like, especially for me and Mike's situation, it's really helpful as like, we travel with like our kids, our daughters. So like, I'll just go out on the balcony while they get ready for the day,
Yes.
and I feel like you were just saying, that's my private area, my spot right there,
100%.
like I just love that.
Yeah,
but
we get exiled to the veranda.
We get sent to the veranda, so that's why I always need a veranda.
I mean, it's a pretty sweet place to get exiled to, but that's kind of
it's not a bad place to be.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Grab your phone and get out, and I'm like, okay, cool. Just knock when I can
and just
come
listen
back.
to the ocean. I mean,
exactly. That's fine. Okay, so this is gonna be like a power real quick one, because we got just about 10 minutes left, but. My last thing that I really, really appreciated was just really taking advantage of Disney transportation when I was down there. And again, as a solo traveler, totally solo this time, not hanging out with Scott and Pam and my family, I got to talk to a lot of people on the transportation, whether I rode the monorail a few times as I was over at the Magic Kingdom. There's one day I just went around a monorail loop and went to the Lizard meetup at the Contemporary, rode the monorail to that, rode a boat one time. Skyliner I rode a lot, even though I was at Coronado Springs. Of course, the buses I was on a ton. But one hack that I kind of came up with for staying at Coronado Springs, because I was really trying to be smart this time about trying to save my legs for Marathon Sunday and not get as many like steps as possible. If I noticed that I was going to end up towards the back of Epcot when I was leaving Epcot, instead of trying to walk back to the front of Epcot to catch a bus back to Coronado Springs, what I did, I think I was in France. Instead of going to catch the bus back to Coronado, what I did was I just jumped the Skyliner and rode the Skyliner over to the studios and got on. Because if you get off the Skyliner at the studios, you got a really short walk to the bus at the studios. If time's not of the essence, I wasn't in any hurry. I just got off the Skyliner at the studios, walked to the bus at the studios, and rode back to Coronado Springs from the studios. That saved me a ton of steps. Now, it's not faster. I don't think it's any faster. It's probably not it's longer either. I bet it's about the same amount of time. I would get. Scott, you're really good at this kind of thing. I would say by the time you walk from France to the bus at Epcot or riding, because you got to make the transfer at Caribbean Beach, but it doesn't take but a blank. But
it just depends on the time of day, because you can get on the Skyliner really quick if it's like midday or something like that,
Yeah. It's probably about the exact amount. I'd say it's within 5 minutes either way, maybe 10.
I'd say so, but I like your strategy. I would
Saves your legs though.
Yeah, if you're deep, like in the back World Showcase for sure, like in or International Gateway area, absolutely. That's that. I like that. I like that hack. That's a good move, Mike.
Yeah, it's relaxing. I mean, and you just jump on the Skyliner and just kind of enjoy just a nice little ride over to. And because I jumped. The thing is, I jumped off at the Riv and picked up supplies for the room because it's a DVC resort. So I got like peanut butter Pop-Tarts. I got some English muffins, stuff like that, because I didn't have a car to go to a grocery store and I didn't want to like Amazon, that kind of stuff. But what I found out was Caribbean Beach or Coronado Springs has all that stuff in their gift shop, even though they're not a DVC resort. They had English muffins, they had peanut butter, they had all the same stuff at Coronado, which I was like, dang, I should have got it here. But I was just thinking I had to go to a DVC resort because they tend to have groceries more than standard resorts.
I think that's included with your stay. You know, the Disney transportation might not always be our favorite thing. Might take a little longer. Me and Pam always talk about we rent cars, but we still use the Disney transportation even when we rent a car.
100%.
Ease of convenience. I mean, I mostly rent the car for, we talked about this, Pam, like the resort to resort. Like it's really helpful if you're trying to go from one resort to another. Saves you a lot of time. But a Disney boat is one of my favorite things to do on a trip, especially like those Wilderness Lodge ones, you know, that have like the open seating, like in the front and the back, like the open air. Like I could just ride that sucker for an hour. You know, I just love and the Skyliner too. Like I just love all that Disney transportation. That's included with your stay. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And when you don't have a car, right, you do have to kind of think creatively, like how am I going to get from point? And that, you know, for me, like for a Disney nerd like myself, like I kind of enjoy that, like because it gives you like, okay, how am I going to get, because I don't have a car. Like, okay, so I got to get to the Contemporary. Okay, I got to go to Magic Kingdom. I got to catch a monorail or a boat, or I can walk. It kind of takes me back to my very first Disney trips, right? Because remember when they used to give you that big like map, and it was like all the options like on a piece of paper. Like, I mean, we can all figure that out in our heads at this point, but I like being able to have to think about that. That makes because the logistics of Walt Disney World is what I enjoy, and that made me happy. All right, Scott, one last thing we got besides transportation. Anything else?
Just a quick one. And this is kind of like you kind of have to control this yourself, but like I love bringing games and just playing them like at the pool or in your room. If you have like a 1-bedroom or like a bigger like space in your room, like you got that nice table that you can just sit at and like and I love taking advantage of that. It's funny, we were talking about that today. My family and I were talking about like, could Old Key West make a second restaurant? Was a conversation we had. That was like a lunch conversation.
Good point. Back
in it's such a big resort. You got Olivia's at the front. Could you put something in the back by like the Turtle Pond area or something? You know, a second restaurant would be nice. But then we got to thinking like, well, they really push Old Key West as like we think the Old Key West travelers are those that actually cook in their room all the time, you know, because like they're like the OG DVC members. So that's where our theory landed as a family. Like they won't bring a second restaurant in because so many people like to cook in their room there potentially. But I just love that, right? Like if you have that space in your room, like you're home away from home, right? We love just playing games like at the table or on our balcony. If you have like a 1-bedroom at Old Key West, you got that big balcony with a nice table out there too. So you kind of have to bring some of your stuff for that, or like I think the Voyager Club, maybe at the Riviera, they might even have games in there. Some of those like lounge like areas might have games like in the DVC centers and things like that. But it's just so much fun to like. It's something you would do at home, but why not do it at your favorite place in the world too, right? It's just even more magical that way.
But people will never do that on their first few trips, right?
No, you shouldn't. That's not.
I'm not spending thousands of dollars to go down and play Uno.
True, it's like a 5th, 6th, 7th kind of trip. Yeah, maybe. But it's like some of my family's favorite memories because we just like laugh and have a great time, and then we can be like, oh, well, let's grab a Mickey bar and do this or whatever. You know what I mean? It just makes it the best, especially if I have friends with you. That's why I always say like cruise. It's almost like a cruise vibe, right? You're just chilling, relaxing, playing games. You got your family and friends with you. It's just that's what it's all about for me. That's what I work hard for. Is moments like that.
I agree, but it shows exactly where you are, like in your Disney traveling, when you can relax enough to take 2-3 hours in the afternoon or evening to play a board game.
Right. And there's Wade in the chat. Like our families once we sat out at that. On Sunset Boulevard, where they kind of have like those 3 counter service areas, all those tables around, and we just played games while we waited for our lightning lane for Tower 2.
It's lit.
Had a margarita, and
that's what life's about, though. I mean, really, it's about the people you're with and just having a good time. That's it. All right, Pam, close us out. What you got?
So it's funny because Scotty, I'm sort of going the same sort of location, and that is just hanging by the resort pool for some reason. Like I have it down, and I will say I read a lot at home. I think I've read more books in my life sitting by a pool at Walt Disney World than ever. Like if you're taking total hours read, there's just something about it. Like I take my Kindle, I just focus on, make sure that I'm reading at some point. I load my Kindle with books I know I want to read while I'm on vacation. And I think it's just part of that is because like life gets busy at home, right? I'm happy if I get like 15 minutes to read every day or whatnot, right? But there you can just like sit and intentionally do that. I love it. And then just enjoying the pool. Each pool area has its own soundtrack. It just is that kind of relaxing thing. It fits with the resort vibe. I just enjoy that so much. There's just so many things about it. Again, I'm watching kids in the water, or I'm watching families enjoying their time there. But it's a big part of your vacation, especially when you're vacationing somewhere like Florida, where swimming just is a part of your vacation. And I love that. I wouldn't trade some of the best times that I've spent have been at a Disney pool. So.
And I think that's a good compliment to being in the theme parks, right? Because the theme parks are very like almost overstimulating to your brain because you got the sight, you got the sounds, you got the smells, you're making decisions all the time. Like you're deciding, is that line, are we going to stand in that line at 60 minutes? Are we going to, what time's lunch? Do we mobile order? Everybody's asking you questions, but then, you almost have to take time at the pool to like, just chill, just sit in a lounge chair, read a book. It gives you that decompression time because you got a vacation too. I mean, well, it's all vacation, but you got to have that relaxing time too, because I mean, while it's still vacation in the Magic Kingdom, while you're going around and doing the theme parks, there's a lot of decision making happening at the same time for your brain.
There is. Yeah. And the best decision of the day is where I'm going to set my stuff on a chair.
Yeah. We don't rope drop the parks. We rope drop the pools.
No, exactly.
There's a lot going on. Well, this has been a great conversation because really what it did for me is like, I pictured all these things happening. Like I pictured Pam there. I pictured her at Stormalong Bay when she said that. I pictured Scott playing cards on Sunset Boulevard. I heard the background loop when he was talking there for a minute. I mean, this is what it's all about. I mean, hopefully everybody got to take a little vacation here in January, a little mental vacation, because that's really what we tried to do today. I hope you guys got to do the same, hopefully. So that's where we are. We'll continue it on Sunday nights. What are those little things, kind of back to basics, that you enjoy on your Disney vacation? So let us know. Also over in the clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. A lot of new friends joining us over there this week. We'd love to see that. So come on over if you haven't. And if you have been missing it, come on over this week. We'd love to have you back. So again, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. Don't forget our show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you get to your favorite Disney destination, whether it's Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, even Adventures by Disney. We can help you do that this weekend. And the best part, no additional cost to you. So check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. And thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. You guys keep us on the air. I appreciate that so very much. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can follow us on the social media at Be Our Guest Mike for myself. Scott's at Epscott, EPSCOT. Pam is at TMFLT Pam. And you can also check out Scott at Must See Adventures on YouTube. Scott, what's going on over on the channel that people could check out this weekend?
So it was our first day at Disneyland Paris. That drone show, the electrical night parade, was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So we have some snips of that. And soon I'll be having a full day. We rope drop and we do all the big ticket items and all that, the dining and everything. So we have a fun full day at Disneyland Paris Park. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Little preview. What's the best dining at DLP?
So I didn't really do that much dining there. I don't know. Pam, have you been there? I can't remember. Have you? Or
yes, I have.
Okay. And the dining is different, I feel like. But we did go to like a Coco restaurant, Mike, which was like Mexican food. So that was That was our best meal that we had there. It was really good.
There you go.
Mexican meal in France.
Americans eating Mexican in France.
Dude, that's kind of how all the food was. It was very like Americanized, I thought.
It is odd for sure.
Yeah, it was hard to find some authentic. But I'll tell you though, we had they had like a food and wine festival kind of thing happening at both parks, so that was kind of cool. So we did a lot of food booths as well, which is really tasty.
All right, so check it out on YouTube. Must See Adventures. Like and subscribe while you're there. Let's grow that channel this weekend. And speaking of the weekend, we'll have our live call-in show Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Call in, be a part of the show. We have a great time with that as well. All right, we're going to get out of here, and we'll see you on Sunday night. So for Scott and Pam, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. That's fun. Good stuff.
Yeah, I just want some French food when I was there.
I know, right? And it's not there really.
It's all like burgers and fries, and like the Disney Village has Billy Bob's barbecue.
Yep, exactly.
There's a 50s diner. Like it's just so weird. They just tried to make it very like American. It's funny.
They did. Yeah.
American half our parks.
I think that's what the Europeans want. They see a Disney park like, oh, let's have it be like America.
Right.
But, yeah. Well, that was a great episode. I like.
It was good. That was fun
because we just got to sit and I like those kind of shows. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. It was stress free, just talking about the things we really like.
I swear that dude went over and got in that water, and I was like, he is gonna get killed by a gator right in front of us, dude. The guy's gonna go down.
I feel like Disney security had to have been there soon.
Yeah, for real, dude. I mean, I'm like, he is gonna get arrested. I mean, for his own good. Like, I mean, I hope, and not that I want anybody to get arrested, but I'd rather the guy get arrested than get like his taken off or worse.
Agreed.
But I swear he's just like, I wonder if there's it kind of reminded me of Brian, right? Because Brian would say something like that. He'd be like, I wonder if there's a gator in there. But Brian wouldn't go in the lake. I don't think.
I mean, Ricky would stop him, but he might consider it.
The cat went across the street and was in the, like, he was like walking right along that water, and I know his foot was in there. I'm just like, oh my God, if there's one in there, he is going down.
Wow.
I was like, I cannot even watch. This is not good.
I would have hopped on whatever the next bus was, even if that's not where I wanted to go.
Right? Ruby Springs, let's go. I'm going to Splitsville. I'm going to bowl a game real quick.
There you go.
I don't even have a ball, but let's go. I don't have the shoes. I don't have stuff on. I don't care. Yeah,
that's funny.
All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you.
All right, see y'all.
All right,
good stuff. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.